Did you know that long, long ago, there was a land ruled by Vikings right in the heart of Europe? Imagine a vast and powerful kingdom where the Vikings, with their mighty ships and strong arms, were the bosses. This wasn't the chilly north we often think of when we speak about Vikings. No, this was a place nestled in the eastern part of Europe where the sun rises. Today, we know these lands as Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. Imagine a big puzzle, where each piece is a different country. Back in those days, all these pieces were one, and it was called Kievan Rus. It was like a giant playground ruled by the Vikings. They made the rules and ensured everyone played nice. This land of the brave Vikings was known as the Kievan Rus. Now imagine living in a time when knights and princesses were real and not just in fairy tales. That's how it was in the Kievan Rus. In this fascinating period, life was quite different from today, yet it was filled with familiar elements. Let's take a peek into daily life in the Kievan Rus. People in the Kievan Rus were very skilled. You would find blacksmiths, potters, carpenters, and even goldsmiths, just like in a medieval crafting game. They would create beautiful and practical things, like the pots and pans in your kitchen, but made entirely by hand. Now let's talk about the clothes. They didn't have jeans or t-shirts back then. Instead, men wore tunics and trousers, while women wore long dresses, all made from linen, wool, and silk. Imagine dressing up for a grand medieval party every single day. And what about the food? There were no fast food restaurants or pizza delivery services. People ate what they grew or caught. Bread was a staple, just like it is for many of us today. They also enjoyed fish, honey, fruits, and vegetables. Just think about your favorite homemade meal. It's a bit like that, but with a lot more bread. But life wasn't all fun and games. People had to work hard to grow their food, build their homes, and make their clothes. Imagine having to do your school projects, but every day and without any modern tools. It was tough, but it also made them really resourceful and inventive. Despite these challenges, people found ways to have fun. They played games, told stories, and celebrated festivals much like we do today. So even though life was different, it was also quite similar in some ways. Life in the Kievan Rus was both challenging and exciting, just like an adventure story. Even though the Kievan Rus doesn't exist anymore, it left behind some pretty cool stuff. Now imagine a giant puzzle with many pieces. When the Kievan Rus was around, it was like one big piece of that puzzle. But when it disappeared, its pieces spread all around, influencing many countries we know today. These pieces brought with them amazing things like unique languages, beautiful traditions, and rich cultures that we see in countries like Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. It's like the Kievan Rus sprinkled a little bit of its magic all over Eastern Europe. Can you picture a big, colorful quilt? Each patch is different, but together they make something beautiful. That's what the Kievan Rus did. It contributed its own special patch to the quilt of Eastern Europe. The Kievan Rus may be gone, but its spirit lives on in the heart of Eastern Europe. So, what have we learned today about the Kievan Rus? We've journeyed across time and discovered a fascinating land, once home to the mighty Vikings. We've explored the Kievan Rus, nestled in the heart of Europe, where the Vikings lived, thrived, and made history. We've learned about their daily lives, from farming and trading to their love for storytelling, creating a vibrant picture of a time long past. We've seen their courage, their spirit, and their passion, which has left an indelible mark on the world. We've also delved into the legacy of the Kievan Rus, understanding how their culture, their beliefs, and their stories have shaped the world we know today. Their influence can be seen in everything from art and architecture to literature and folklore. And that's the story of the Kievan Rus, a land of brave Vikings and exciting adventures. Until next time, keep exploring and learning, because the world is full of fascinating stories just like this one.